Ben's the best or nothing? Okay, so I'm reading your stuff, and I'm seeing your picks. I'll throw a theory at you, and I talked about it earlier. I'm Kyle Shanahan, and I know I can probably, for a few teams, get a second-round pick for Garoppolo. But if he gets hurt again, the value goes to not. You could not, as a GM, he'd been hurt 4 times in 5 years in September. And so if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I don't agree with it, but I kind of do get the Mac Jones thing, whereas they're saying, if Garoppolo gets hurt again, we get nothing for him in the toughest division in football. And I got to win now. So let's just talk Garoppolo for a second. Your thoughts on when they would move him and their thought process, Peter, on moving him.
Well, Colin, honestly, I had thought that, and I think it was their John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, I think it was their strong feeling that they wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo for the season. The reason being that, the last 2 seasons that Kyle Shanahan has had a healthy number 1 starting quarterback for the full season. Both years he's gone to the Super Bowl. The first time in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, the second time in San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo. So what that means is, let's say they take Mac Jones, and let's say he's the starter. Do you think they want to backstop him with the way they've backstopped their quarterback in the last, 4 years? I don't think so. So that's why I thought they were going to keep him. But now I'm not so sure, Colin. And, to me, I think it'll be tempting for them if they get a good offer in this draft to take it. What is a good offer? They're not going to get a 1, but who knows? They might get a mid 2. What if New England doesn't draft a quarterback in the first round and they're sitting there at 46 and they can get Garoppolo? I don't know, Colin. I think this is a difficult call internally for the Niners. And as I said, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not expecting it.
It's interesting, Peter. When John Lynch took the job, one of the most important things was there was no leaks. And he tested the organization so there'd be no leaks. And there wasn't a leak on Trent Williams. There wasn't a leak on the Garoppolo trade. There wasn't a leak. They've made a major moves. No leaks. Now on the Mac Jones thing, every 15 minutes there's a leak. And it feels like to me, Peter, they're testing the water. They want to see, because I think they want Mac Jones, but I think there's a little division between the scouting department and Kyle and John. There's a little division, and maybe they're doing these test balloons out to the market. But I am cynical that a very tight organization that didn't leak the Garoppolo move or the Trent Williams move or the move up to 3, now every 15 minutes I got an NFL reporter I respect saying Mac Jones is 3. I'm cynical that they're testing the water. I mean, are you sure they're taking Mac Jones?
No, not at all. I agree with you about how they have been leak-proof. And I think a lot of the things that are coming out of there are not necessarily facts. They're feelings from people who cover the NFL and who have friends inside that organization. But, Colin, one of the reasons I think most people think they're taking Mac Jones is because Mac Jones was a guy who really fits exactly what Kyle Shanahan likes, which is a guy who's got a good enough arm, who's got excellent accuracy and very good accuracy downfield too. And so all of that stuff, plus he's a coach on the field, all of that stuff fits what Kyle Shanahan wants to do and wants in his quarterback. But I'm not going to be shocked if they take somebody else, if they take Trey Lance. But I'm like probably most people in my business. I think they're going to take Mac Jones.
I want to look at Peter's mock draft and notable picks. I do love mock drafts. I did one. It's already completely inaccurate, and I know that, but I think they're fun. I think fans like them. You have Mac Jones 3 to San Francisco. You have Justin Fields 8 to Carolina. That's interesting. And then you have Denver taking Trey Lance. I've met Trey. When I threw out Denver, he smiled. He liked that. So that's interesting. So you would have Carolina taking another quarterback. That'd be a crowded quarterback room. What's your theory on that?
Well, my theory is, I look for little clues a lot of times. Somebody in Columbus told me that the Panthers have been very interested in Justin Fields, and I find it interesting they haven't picked up the fifth-year option on Sam Darnold, and I don't think they will pick up the fifth-year option on Sam Darnold until after the draft, if at all. So, and remember, when he got traded, when Darnold went to Carolina, everybody said, yep, they're going to pick up his fifth-year option. Well, they haven't done it yet, so we'll see there. But I just think it sort of fits, unfortunately, for Sam Darnold. And again, this is based more on what I think they'll do rather than somebody in the organization saying, this is what we're going to do.
Denver, you have them taking Trey Lance, which I think would be great. I would love to see him there. It's interesting. Their GM came out the other day and just said, listen, we want a quarterback competition. With translation, Drew's not long for the Mile High City. But I'm like you. I think they solved some of their cornerback issues. I don't feel they'll move up. For some reason, I have a strong New England move-up feel. I don't feel it with Denver. Let's talk New England for a second, because I have this feeling there's no real plan long-term, and next year's supposed to be a bad quarterback college draft. What is your gut on New England? Just your gut feeling on what they do and why?
Well, first of all, with Denver, I think that if they don't take a quarterback, they're going to trade for Teddy Bridgewater. That could very much be part of what George Payton is saying in Denver. As far as New England goes, look, they have not picked a quarterback in Bill Belichick's 25 drafts higher than number 62 overall. So that would make you say, there's no way they're going to take a quarterback and they're not going to get aggressive in the first round, certainly to move up for one. On the other hand, the New England Patriots just spent $96 bajillion in free agency, and Bill Belichick's never done that before either.
Right.
So I just think with Belichick, all bets are off. I don't know what they're going to do. I would be surprised if he ruined this year's draft and perhaps next year's draft to move up into the single digits to take a quarterback. But again, that's just an absolute gut feeling on my part. It's not based on anything other than it's very, very un-Belichickian.
By the way, Peter, go back to your first couple years covering the NFL and to today. The draft now, I could argue, is the third biggest sport in America. I mean, it's gigantic. Do you think it's folly? Do you like? I'm a mock draft nerd. I get it, but your kind of macro 30,000 feet in the air view of what the NFL draft has become.
I can't listen to any more crap on the draft. I can't. And whenever I hear it, it is either white noise or I put on NPR. I can't hear it anymore. It's enough. It's just way, way too much. Hey, Colin, the first year I ever covered the NFL was in 1984. I was a young kid for the Cincinnati Enquirer. Rookie coach Sam Weich. I am sitting in his office the day before the draft, and he goes,